Do you think the Senate missed the point by not clearing the acting EFCC chairman for that substantive position?
No, absolutely not. The acting chairman obviously took so much for granted. The Senate can only act on facts. The fact is that the DSS has said that it has integrity problems. And I saw a clip now where he was saying that he didn't have any property in Maitama. All those should have been resolved with the DSS because he has access. But for a report to come to the Senate and for anyone to expect any contrary outcome, then it means the Senate has no business confirming anybody. That should have just been done by the president without reference. But the law says you must send categories of appointments to the Senate.
Okay, if I could jump in at that point. You know, there are those who also believe and pointed out to us that they think that the Senate missed the point because the powers of the Senate to confirm the EFCC chairman is not at large, because the law did not provide for constitution of security reports in confirming the Senate or in confirming the chairman of EFCC, and the law did not even consider or raise that you have to look at the man's character before he's confirmed.
Oh. Well, again, when you ask for confirmation, that is a condition before. The reason that came in was so that the president cannot just easily fire the EFCC chairman. So that it was put in there to protect some seats from overbearing executive.
Are you saying this is in the best interest of the EFCC position?
It was supposed to be in the best interest of that seat, the EFCC chairman. Now, there are positions that the president hires and fires just at will. Now, the president will still has the powers to fire him, but must notify the Senate. Now, when you look at the issue of whether a person is fit or is not fit, if you send a list in the past, when you send a list to the National Assembly, we just say ayes, nays and all that. And some of us really got, I got a little bit worried that are we really doing what we're supposed to be doing here? Now, people are improving, because I was in the 6th Senate, this is the 8th Senate, they are improving gradually. Now, when you send a person to be confirmed, the president can only rely on security report from his DSS.
The president?
Yes, can rely on it.
Not the Senate?
No, the Senate will have to rely on it too.
Why?
Because that is the information available to the Senate.
But it was two reports that were sent on the same day at different times, one to the presidency, one to the Senate. Yeah. So how do you tally that?
Now, the issue of homework not being properly done, and this instance is because this guy, Magu, was in the system. So he was acting. If you were a new person coming in, the presidency would have gotten the security report to know whether this guy should be sent or not, for confirmation. That is what they do for all the ministers.
Okay,
the
but
first thing you do, you go for that security.
Okay,
screening.
but if in the opinion of the appointor, yes, he is of good character and not questionable, what role does the Senate, how do we define the role of the Senate in confirming the chairman of the EFCC?
You see, if it were left to the president to make that appointment, there would have been no need for confirmation by the Senate. Now, if you think somebody is the best person for a job, and your security agencies And they're supposed to be doing their work without passion. They should not be able to deceive the president. So they wrote what they felt was the situation. If they had any other motive, I wouldn't know that. But they wrote a report that this and this is what they have for Magu. There is no way the president should not even bother himself about it. Shouldn't even be involved in this matter anymore. Because when you look at it, these are people, if you don't have confidence in your DSS, they were in trouble. Because not only do they write reports on people, they write situations. If crisis will come, they are supposed to inform the president. They should be able to tell him the truth. If it's not popular on the street, they should be able to tell him.
Isn't that the work of the National Security Advisor?
Oh, DSS, I mean, look at it. The National Security Advisor would get information from DSS as well. You have a Defense Intelligence Agency, you have a National Security Advisor, you have all these agencies actually reporting to the National Security Advisor. I think if that is the hierarchy. But a report must be on the president's table for him to know what is going on in the country on a daily basis. And that is not strange. We all know that. So they should always tell him the truth. The president might not know this other side of Magu. And the whole country is very excited about Magu because of the fact that Lamode was totally incompetent.
Let's look at the history. Let's look at the history.
So this man came in to do something like we used to see during Ribat.
We had this situation where, looking at dating back from the history of the EFCC from the times of Nuhu Ribadu, then we had Farida Waziri, and then we had who was the next person after Farida Waziri now?
And that was
Lamorde. And then we're having him in acting capacity, and he has worked with Nuhu Ribadu, and he, in response to some of the damning reports against him that tested his integrity, said that at the time he worked with Nuhu Ribadu at the capacity that made it such that they had to go after some very strong people in politics, and perhaps that is one of the reasons why he's been refused that the confirmation. What do you think of that statement from him?
Well, let me put it this way. Maybe during the time he worked with those people, maybe particularly the last few people that left. If you have stayed that long, it's very likely that you might have acquired assets beyond your office. It's not impossible. Some of these things that is being questioned about, it might not just be acquiring them now. You might have had those things. And they are saying that, look, you are a civil servant or a public servant. How did you acquire all these things? Those things could come up. It's not impossible. The issue of stepping on toes, there's no one who will work there if you want to do your job that will not step on toes. It's not possible. If you are thinking about that, when you start looking for excuses why this thing was done, that was done, it's got no bearing.